In the last video, we defined each strand, but what defines a CAS experience as a whole? Your 18 months of CAS should result in at least 3 creativity, 3 activity, and 3 service experiences. Although, as we go along, you will see that while you may want to know how much of something you need to do, it is instead more important to focus on what you learn and how you grow. There are millions of activities you could engage in for CAS, but you will have to plan and propose your chosen CAS experiences to your CAS coordinator for approval. So, to avoid you wasting your time with proposing experiences that do not qualify as CAS, we have prepared a simple formula for you. Your CAS coordinator may have specific proposal forms for you, but the key is to ask yourself a few specific questions while in the planning stage of your experience. First, is this going to lead to personal development? If so, how? Next, which strand of CAS will this satisfy? And how? And finally, which of the 7 learning outcomes could this meet? How? The common denominator in these 3 simple questions is that magic word how. Always ask how or why. Believe me, your CAS coordinator will ask, and by asking these questions yourself now, you are already starting your all-important reflections process. Much more on that later. These are questions that you should be able to answer for every CAS experience. Let's go through an example of what this formula looks like when planning an experience. So let's say you want to attend an art exhibition at your local museum. Is this a CAS experience? First, we'll ask ourselves, is this going to lead to personal development? Although this could lead to artistic inspiration, it is a passive experience. So it'll be a no from your CAS coordinator. But developing the idea by either publishing a critic's guide to the exhibition or maybe using the artist's style and medium to create your own artwork, for example, could make it CAS. The creating is the key here. The practicing of new creative skills is the personal development. Next, we'll ask ourselves, which strand of CAS will this satisfy? No doubt, creating art or writing would count as a creative experience. But if you were to produce an independent critic's guide for visitors, that could be service too. And finally, which of the 7 learning outcomes could this meet? We'll be going into much more detail about the 7 learning outcomes in later videos. But for now, we can say that either of these CAS experiences would satisfy learning outcome 2, demonstrating that challenges have been undertaken while developing new skills in the process, because you will be pushing yourself to try new, unfamiliar skills to achieve your goal. And learning outcome 3, demonstrating how to initiate and plan a CAS experience. Because, as you will see, you will be taking detailed notes on how you have followed the CAS stages to organize and plan your experience. So, by going through each question, not only were we able to identify what would fall under the category of a CAS activity or not, but we were even able to think of new creative ideas related to our original interest in visiting the local museum. As you have seen, as your CAS experience evolves, it may take a different direction. For instance, in our museum example, maybe you end up publishing your visitor's guide in Braille for the visually impaired, which could lead to the fulfillment of new learning outcomes and personal development. It is vital that you choose a CAS experience that is not only meaningful, but also enjoyable, or you'll never have the motivation to finish it. But for now, by answering these simple questions, you are able to choose experiences that qualify as CAS, and on top of that, you are also able to provide yourself with an excellent foundation for those all-important reflections you'll be completing along the way.